Gotta come back to y'all live. My apologies, being technical difficulties on the previous video, and unfortunately most of that was gibberish now. As I can tell, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to recap exactly what I said to y'all. What I said was basically the fact that the Celtics have a chance against the Cavs from two standpoints. If they can defensively find a way to take Kevin Love and Kyle Korver out the game, I believe they have a chance. You leave LeBron and requisite pieces to figure it out. In the same way they attempted to take Ben Simmons off his game and not allow him in the paint, play him to drive with Al Horford. Instead, you play Baines on Kevin Love. You have Marcus Smart chasing around a Kyle Korver. It really depends on what starting lineup they run out there. If they run a Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love lineup, then you run a Baines Horford lineup. If you know, to start the game at least. But then, you know, all that's really leaving them is George Hill, which I'm assuming George Hill will start at the point with LeBron and J.R. Smith. Bench for bench, I'd say they can run pretty deep. You know, they can run pretty deep when you got guys like Green and Clarkson and Hood. You know, I gotta say, as from an athletic standpoint, they have a deeper team than the Sixers had, I believe. Not to mention Covington didn't show up that entire series. He made a few shots here and there, but Covington was highly over-advertised. And with that being said, I'd like to say that the Celtics, I don't want to go out for out and say they're going to win this series. It's a guarantee. But I will say they are playing LeBron. And with the amount of bodies you go in him, I like the matchup with him, with Semi Ojeleye on him. I like Horford on LeBron. I understand if you watch LeBron, he will tend to post up Marcus Smart now. Even though Marcus Smart has the toughness to more or less try and stand his ground, it's still LeBron. We all have to give just due to that. Same way we gave respect to the stars that were up against in the last couple series. You got to give respect to what you're up against, and remember that you're not going to stop, but you can only hope to contain. I'm interested in seeing what Brad Stevens' defensive game plan is. But once again, nothing surprised me. Nothing surprised me. I gave you guys the book on what I thought about Terry Rozier last summer. After watching him the first couple years in the system, and I felt the same way I felt about. It's the same way I felt about Avery Bradley after those first couple of years, where it was one of those things where in conversation I would remind people constantly that this guy's developing a jump shot, guys. Avery Bradley's looking like he's developing a jump shot. He's not looking scared. He's hitting a clutch jump shot. In the same sense that it wasn't quite obvious where Marcus Smart was when his first couple of years from a shooting ability, but he was hitting these jumpers in clutch moments. So respect due to the guys that are on the court. These were never supposed to be bums. These were never supposed to be backup players. And for some reason, everyone's surprised. So for guys like Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, which led us to a victory last year. We had a victory in the Eastern Conference Finals last year with Marcus Smart at the point, controlling the pace of play. Point man from both the offensive and defensive standpoint. First guy you're running into is Marcus Smart. And he controlled the pace of play very well. And against what was a team that played a decent half-court set last year. They had the pieces to do that. This year, I feel like Cleveland can't play the same way when you have guys like Al Horford who can pull Love away from the basket and Tristan Thompson seen as pretty much a non-offensive threat. I think there's something you can do to game plan around that because you have the pieces to do it now. But I see this series going 7 games only because the Celtics have home court advantage. And I don't, unless the Celtics go up, unless the Celtics can steal one in Cleveland, I don't expect them to give one away at home. And this series has a very good chance of going 7, in which we'll see the best of LeBron and hopefully the best of the Celtics. Not surprised by anything I'm seeing. And I don't want anyone else to be. And the thing is, when Terry Rozier scores 17 points, when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both are over 20, 24 and 25, Al Horford doesn't need to have a crazy shooting night. Those guys are pretty much carrying the load. And then you add in Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, Aaron Baines, then you got Al Horford. These guys fill out the stat sheet as a collective by all doing different things, and no one player and the team itself not banking on any one player scoring more than this one player. It's a collective, and everyone has different responsibilities, and sometimes those responsibilities change night to night. But the one thing that has nothing to do with team responsibility from a defensive standpoint, or a move, a cut, a pass, is athleticism and skill, and the continued growth of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's use of their athleticism and skill at an NBA level. And to not just know and have seen throughout the year what they're capable of, but to have seen their growth even throughout this past series is amazing. Jaylen Brown going through that injury, and when he came back, and there was a question of, and he went against doctor's orders and basically dove for that ball, that loose ball against Philly, got it behind his back and just banged it down to let everyone know I'm back. That was not by accident. It's just certain players are just special. And to be on the cusp of to be on the cusp of being able to use your talent to its full capability is something that most people take for granted, because they assume that players just arrive one day, and they say stars are made in the playoffs, all stars are made in the playoffs, or what is it called, big time players are made in the playoffs. You find out who you are, and not just you find out who you are, but if you know who you are, the way Terry Rozier, kept saying those first couple weeks he was starting, and even in the first series against Milwaukee, he straight out kept saying, I'm just, getting more comfortable and more comfortable. Jaylen Brown knew he was going to be in that starting role this year. And then when Gordon Hayward goes down, Jaylen Brown knew he had to basically arrive and it didn't happen immediately, but this Jaylen Brown is not the Jaylen Brown that started the year, is not the Jaylen Brown 6 months from there, before that, 6 months before that, and is not just on the cusp of hitting that, wave of greatness that he's capable of, but I think he recognizes I'm there, and I don't know who else. I don't know why I have to wait. There's no hesitation to just go do it and take it. And that's what I like seeing out of him this past game when he was inserted back in the starting lineup. This goes both from his talk and his play. And Jason Tatum picking up the slack these past 6 games, 20+ points, basically saying, look, I gotta, step up, or not saying he has to, but basically being handed the reins as that guy in the starting lineup and took it willingly, and watching his game develop, more importantly than even Jaylen Brown, is what I think puts them at a level that I don't know if I'd be surprised if they took the first 2 games from Cleveland and potentially took one from Cleveland. I don't know if LeBron hasn't dealt with this monster before. And now we haven't dealt with a LeBron type monster, but Antetokounmpo is pretty much just as much of a monster going to the hole. He's almost unstoppable. And to tell you the truth, you play good defense on LeBron and force him into jump shots, he can be a low percentage shooter, from game to game. It's all about taking advantage of your opportunities and capitalizing on the defensive stops and going at them with confidence and believing that and realizing that they haven't seen this monster before. LeBron James knows about Al Horford. LeBron James knows about Marcus Smart's defensive toughness. LeBron James has seen a Marcus Morris before. LeBron James has recognized Jaylen Brown maybe as of last year, but LeBron James has not seen the twin-headed monster of JB and JT. LeBron James has not seen this Terry Rozier, and the whole team as a collective, especially with the new parts there. But speaking from the players that are there, the J.R. Smith, the Tristan Thompsons, the Kevin Love, the LeBron James, and Ty Lue, they have not seen this Celtics team even earlier this year. You have not seen. Terry Rozier is playing at a different level. So I don't believe they played this team having to look out for so many different things. And then if you add a potential Greg Monroe off the bench, just to add to the fact that they have no protection under the basket. And if we get up, we could abuse them all day doing that. What do you do when you have a team, when you guys, have this many, action-packed weapons coming at you, who can all pull up on a dime and shoot, take it all the way to the rack on you, or set up one of their teammates with a crazy pass. It's really going to be dope to see what they do. It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4 off-rip weapons that you guys got to look out for. And then Bane sneaks out to the 3-point line in the corner sometimes now. I mean, I already loved the man on this. The man was automatic from the pick and pop. But okay, if this is going to be the case, Al Horford's capable of getting the ball a lot higher off of that alley-oop than people thought. Then let's really put this into perspective and ask ourselves, has Cleveland had this coming at them before? I don't think so. This team alone, you could project on its own to dominate in a couple of years. And you're not even talking about the weapons coming back to it. So, sorry about the last video. This is its correction. This is its, redo. But talk to me about what y'all think. I'm interested in seeing what the defensive scheme is like against the Cavs. And I'm interested in seeing the Celtics actually embrace the idea that the Cavs haven't seen this before. And how are they going to handle a weapon from everywhere? LeBron can't do it all by himself, so you just keep coming at him.